What's up, YouTube? WK Dad, Team DKF. Before I begin, guys, check out my blog and my toolbar. Be up there in the corner. Today's video is going to be Pro Tips for BK number 8. You're not as good as you think you are. And I'll start by confessing that I'm not as good as I think I am, because that was proven to me when I went to Shonen Jump LA, and I was exposed to so many players who have the experience that I don't have, and that's playing against lots of high caliber players and being able to attend lots of large scale events. And attending large scale events is important because in our case, Team DKF, our best competition is our team. Team DKF stands for, well, I say DKF stands for Dub K, which is the nickname for Wichita, Kansas finest. And I consider, our team to be the finest players in the city of Wichita. And, all of us have accomplishments of such. We've all had regional tops. We've all had national invites. Asian Persuasion has a Shonen Jump top. I have Upper Deck Day. I top 3'd at Upper Deck Day in Kansas City. And but there's just the 6 of us here in town, and that's who we play against the most often. That's who we test against. That's who we help each other build our decks. And and because of that, we don't have the chance to, there's no one around to test our skills against on a consistent basis. And that can hinder you, just playing your friends and the same people over and over again. That can hinder you because you don't get the exposure to other play styles, and you don't get the exposure to other people playing competitive decks in a different fashion than you would. For instance, if you're a Gladiator Beast player and you're playing a Gladiator Beast player that you've never met, maybe the way you play Glads is conservative, and maybe this person that you've never met, they're extremely aggressive with Glads. And both ways to play Glads are perfectly acceptable. There's lots of players who are conservative and with their in playing Glads, and there are a lot of people who just slap cards on the table and just push with Laquaris and one-for-one destruction and those type of things. And if you're not used to that, that can overwhelm you, and you may lose that match. Like, what happened? I play tested so much against my teammate, mirror matches, and I kept up with him or I beat him. Well, your teammate knows your play style, and your teammate may also be a conservative Glad Beast player, and you've just had no experience playing against a player who is just extremely aggressive, balls to the wall, no fear Glad Beast player. And that pigeontails in with or dovetails in with one of my favorite sayings is, you're only as good as your competition. And so with that, if you're only competing against the same people all the time, then you have no real chance to gauge your skill level. And in Shonen Jump LA, my skill level was gauged, and I realized that it wasn't quite as high as I thought it was. And the next thing is originality. A lot of people know that I've had almost 40 different decks posted on YouTube, and I pride myself with being an original deck builder. And there are a lot of people who try to build original decks, and I get those submitted to me all the time, and they want me to help them fix it. And it upsets me when they don't listen to my fixes, and they don't understand some basic things about having a successful deck. They don't understand that the reason that the cookie cutter decks work, and cookie cutter, that term just annoys the hell out of me, but the reason that those decks work is because they contain the necessary the necessary ingredients for a successful deck, and that's the ability to simplify the game, destruction, and consistency. And if the original deck you built, your Rock, Warriors, Zombie, Wing Beast mashup, doesn't have ways to simplify the game, and that's deplete your opponent's resources or destruction, in terms of mass spell of trap removal consistently, keeping your opponent off the field, their monsters off the field, to prevent them from making plays against you, then that deck just is not going to be successful. There may be occasions where you can pull off wins, and I'm pretty sure that if you pulled off a win, it's because you're playing an inferior player, you're playing against an inferior deck, or the opponent just got a really trashy hand and you're just able to beat stick them and you had all the answers. And that's something that you need to think about. And then finally, misplays. There are so many people in this game who've been playing this game for a number of years and they still make the same misplays. There's people that are locals, there's people at regionals I've been to. When, let's say, the gadget players, and that's one of the things that annoys me the most. The point of gadgets is to summon a gadget, search a gadget, thinning your deck. That way you're drawn to destruction, helping to simplify the game, which is what gadgets specialize in. And I've seen so many players, when they're down and they're staring down a monarch and some other monster, they'll set their gadget instead of summoning and searching, not realizing that if you summon that gadget and search a gadget, you're one card closer to drawing into, a key piece of removal. And of course you're going to take damage, but at least you thinned your card, you thinned your deck by a card, and you've increased your chances of drawing removal that could possibly change the deck around. The next card might be the Vortex. So now you can ditch the gadget you searched and the Vortex you just topped, and you simplified the game to some degree. And that's something that I consider to be a huge misplay. Other cards that, other things I see people misplay is not seeing game pushes. And this has happened to me even on occasions. You'll swing for game, not completely add up the life points correctly, and your opponent will have 200 life points and they're able to turn it around because they top a Dark Armor, top a JD. And you go back and you look, like, oh my God, I had Plague engraved. If only you remember to stack for Plague, you could have gotten that last 400 damage per game. Or Synchrocat players who summon in the bottomless trap hole. I've never understood Synchrocat players who summon Rescue Cat, Tribute Cat into 2 or 3 face downs with no protection. Maybe that's been your only play to make. If you weren't going to die in your following turn, then I would hold on to that Rescue Cat until you cleared some of that back row, or at least wait till you had Cold Wave or Heavy, or if you at least had a Book of Moon, so you could save one of the monsters you brought out. One of the things that I've done is I've baited the bottomless trap hole. I've summoned a Rescue Cat, gotten Raikou and Arabellum, and then they go to activate bottomless trap hole. My body is a shield or Book of Moon, those type of things, just to, bait out the bottomless, because losing 1 Arabellum is better than losing 2. I'll Book of Moon the Raikou, and then at least I can destroy some the next turn and then try to follow up. But yeah, that's all I have to say for today. I hope I didn't offend anybody when I made the comments the other day. It's just that, with the subscriber base that I have, for once, I'd like to be able to ask for help in building decks instead of getting really bad advice. And, I try really hard to help people when they submit decks to me. Sometimes I'll test the deck myself, or I'll kind of write it out and think of possible plays. And whenever it seems I ask for help, like in my Help Me Build It series, people make such horrid suggestions. For instance, in my Quackimiru deck, want me to run like the zombie Quackimiru. It's hard enough to keep a Quackimiru monster on the field in the first place. Why would I want to be in a situation where I'm top decking a tribute? If I have no Quackimirus on the board and they're dying all the time, why would I want to run a tribute? Those are the kind of things that irk me. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. It's Dub K Dad, Team DKF, and I'm out.